Now, what happens when fiction that seems far-fetched becomes fact, and when a brilliant masterpiece that leaves nothing to the imagination becomes the reality of the moment? As the world locks down to contain the devastating effects of the coronavirus, one man, a screenwriter turned novelist, had 15 years before now written about a global pandemic. TVC News' Ibraheem Shitta contacted Peter May about his book, which was rejected by publishers for being too unrealistic. But today's events around the world have since changed perceptions about publishing the book.
15 years ago, lockdown was good to go so far as the author was concerned. It was a book that Peter May had written, but his plans to publish were shelved. Shattered it may have been, but today, luck is shining down on him. Deadline London, and sometime in 2005, in the course of researching, he came across information that would help him tell this story. That began the process and the tonic he needed to write. His book talks about a pandemic with London as the epicenter, which forces human and economic activity to grind to a halt. Empty streets, a shattered economy, overflowing hospitals, makeshift morgues, and so much death so close to home set the scene then and is playing out now before our eyes. It was a view of what humanity hoped our world would never have to deal with. But this book, ahead of its time, captured the reality that has transcended borders, leaving everyone hoping on prayer for a vaccine sooner than later. Now we know different and are confronted by fiction translating into fact, and with every passing day, fiction and truth collided to the extent that both are inextricably linked. As we live in the midst of the devastation wreaked by COVID-19, Peter May's Lockdown mirrors the current reality of a world in isolation. Readers have given the book glowing reviews. The setting is eerie and a brutal reminder of how things could get spiral out of control if social distancing is not observed and governments the world over do not take the necessary action to ensure the lives are preserved.
I have just finished reading Lockdown by Peter May, his new thriller set in a dystopian London at the beginning of the 21st century. It's published by Quercus. And let me tell you, it reflects back what is going on for us at the moment. We are in lockdown because of the coronavirus. Back then in 2005, the people in London are fighting the H5N1 bird flu virus, and they are falling like flies. The police are out on the street, the army is out. But at that point, no publisher would touch that book because the publishers then felt it was just too dystopian and was so far removed from reality. But having read it, let me tell you, it reflects back what we are going through at the moment. It's a very interesting read.
What may have motivated Peter May to develop a grim storyline that had left nothing to the imagination? Alas, today, we're living witnesses to the global pandemic, which has indeed locked down all forms of activity and rendered humanity helpless. But there is hope. Mankind will prevail. Ibraheem Shitta, TVC News.